Hello everyone, today is April 9th, 2026, a beautiful sunny spring Thursday. My favorite season is winter, and that's why spring is my least favorite season because it means that we have to say goodbye to winter. And also, I have a bad pollen allergy, so every spring is like the worst time for me. I used to not like spring at all, but today's weather is gorgeous. It's in the low 50s, but it feels like in the 60s in the sun. So can't really complain. Um, Oil went up really high today. Went up $7. I think WTI is over $100 a barrel. Brent is just hovering below $100. Uh, who knows? It might cross sometime later this morning. It just shows you that the market is really not buying this ceasefire deal between U.S. and the IRGC, and this negotiation that's supposedly coming up in Pakistan is shaky to say the least. Um, as we said yesterday, I believe this is a tactical retreat on the Trump's part, and he's going to use the next 14 days to regroup and calm the financial markets, prepare for the next round of attack of the IRGC. Justice demands it, the Iranian people demands it, and the world, you know, needs to get rid of this evil regime of Islamic Republic. So that means in the short run, we're still going to see oil price hovering at a pretty high level, and um, that means there's going to be a headwind for financial markets, at least until Kevin Walsh is installed as the next Fed chairman. But in my personal opinion, I see why Trump is hesitant to deploy the ground troops, because there were so many failed precedents of ground invasion. The most recent one, as everybody could remember, was Iraq in 2003 and Afghanistan. But as we mentioned in the previous video, I personally do not think Iran in 2026 will turn out to be Iraq in 2003. Mainly because we are on the right side of history this time. Um, but still, it's scary. Before you deploy the ground troops, you think about Vietnam, you think about Iraq, about Afghanistan, about all the failed wars that U.S. had over the past 60, 70 years, and you get cold feet. But just like to make an investment in crypto, sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. So uh, in January, I'm sure before Trump went into Venezuela to capture Maduro, uh, he viewed that as risky as well, because if you remember, in the early 1960s, U.S. tried to do that with Castro in Cuba. Kennedy sending special forces, try to incite a riot, a revolt in Cuba, in the hope to topple the Castro regime. But the operation failed, and it was one of the biggest scandals in modern American history. A slap on the face to the supposedly the mightiness of the U.S. military, and this event was infamously remembered as the failed Bay of Pigs invasion. And this Venezuela operation could easily turn out to be another disaster. If the let's say the clandestine um, work beforehand was not airtight, and the operation details were leaked, for example, to the other side, Maduro could have prepared an ambush for the American Special Forces, and this operation could have failed. But Trump, to his credit, took the risk, and the reward was enormous. Not only was he able to exercise the Monroe Doctrine on the Western Hemisphere by capturing Maduro, he essentially, weakened China's position in the world by securing the oil of Venezuela, which has one of the largest known oil reserves in the world. And I personally view the ground invasion of Iran is the same thing. I think everybody realizes you cannot win this war. You cannot topple the IRGC regime without sending the ground troops. But sometimes you just need to take a leap of faith. Yes, it could go horribly wrong. But if you believe that your cause is just, if you believe this evil Islamic regime has been enslaving and oppressing and killing its people for the past 47 years, you're willing to pay the price, to take the risk, to destroy and topple this evil organization. So I think eventually ground invasion will happen. It just takes more preparation, at least from the perspective of the U.S. in Trump's eyes. But when the ground invasion happens, I believe it's going to be fast and swift and surprise everybody in the world. And it's going to turn out to be an extremely successful operation, just like in Venezuela in January. And when that happens, you see that U.S. will rise up to the preeminent position that we deserve to be, at this moment in history. And the US dollar would strengthen, and money from all over the world, capital from all over the world, will flow into the US. And that's going to push the asset prices higher. And that's when our asset, the Wojak token, is going to fly. Of course, that's still some time away. And right now we're in this very depressive bear market for crypto. But as one wise investor said, in a bear market, in a recession, is actually the best time to build a business. So, with the preeminence of the Wojak meme, I really do believe right now is the best time to build a solid foundation, to encourage one another in the community, and to hope for a brighter bull market that's about to come in the next few months, I believe. Once the war ends, once U.S. has a resounding and decisive victory in Iran, that's when all assets in crypto, in the stocks, even in gold and silver will rise. So that's my personal opinion. Thank you so much for listening to my babbling, and I will see everybody on the next video.